What's good, y'all? Jamil Parker representing YSM Sports Media. Man, impressive performance. I just caught that. I just caught it at the main event. I didn't get a chance to see any of the undercard, but it was worth it, man. Shakur Stevenson looked good at 130 pounds. Um, you can see he's starting to slowly like grow into his body. You know, he's only 22, but there was a significant size difference from now to when he was fighting at 126. I'm curious to see is he going to stay at 130, even though there are good fights to make at both weight classes. But yeah, kid looked good, yo. Even though the opponent, it was a turkey. Like it was a turkey, and I understand why. Boxing's just coming back. ESPN probably fully funded the card. There was no live gate, so you're only going to get a mid-tier opponent, mid to low tier opponent to take that fight for the purse that they were offering. So, it's a lot of news in boxing today, but glad to have boxing back. A little weird without fans, but I'm glad, man. It's been 3 long months, and it's finally over. We get a card, I think, Thursday or Friday. Yeah. So, no real notable names, but like I said, this boxing is going to get viewership because we're like fiending for it. And I'm glad, man. I'm glad boxing's back. Shouts out to Bob Arum, Top Rank, for being the ones to bring it to us, and we'll see who follows up, man. PBC, Eddie Hearn, the ball's in your court. But back to Shakur. If he stays at 130, there's a couple fights that I want to see, even though I doubt that they get made. Jamel Herring, that's a good fight. Miguel Burchett, and I think Burchett's probably going to fight Oscar Valdez. And who else is a good fight? Tevin Farmer. And actually, Tevin Farmer was on live talking about possibly fighting Shakur with AB Boxing News. I'm trying to bring some people on. But that's a good fight, even though Tev said after the rematch and probably one more fight, he's going to jump up to 135. So all of those fights I would like to see happen. Those good fights. Maybe Leo Santa Cruz, Gervonta Tank Davis. I can go for all those. Yeah. Yeah, boxing's back. I almost didn't even make this card, man. Was having all kinds of technical difficulties. But I saw Shakur stopping with a body shot. Now, I didn't think Shakur was that good on the inside, but he looked good for this fight. And even though he controlled range for most of the early rounds, he just seemed to just be on another level than the kid Felix. I mean, the kid Felix had 15, 16 fights? But he doesn't really have the extensive amateur background of somebody like Shakur, to where as though he can just come right in and fight elite level opponents in 13 fights. Like not everybody has that amateur resume or has that pedigree to be able to do so. And you could tell early that this kid was outmatched because he was getting hit with everything, the kitchen sink, everything. Like he couldn't dodge a punch to save his life at all. And it was a good knock the rust off fight for Shakur. Oh, my man Dev. What's good, Dev? Did you watch the fights? You think Tev would be too much right now?
Yo, what's up, man?
Yo, Jay. You know how to answer your phone, man?
Man, I don't even know it. Man, I probably had that joke on charge. Man, that's probably what it was.
Oh man, this is the guy I was waiting for. My man from the Boxing Source. Yo, great podcast, great content. Check him out. The Boxing Source, that's on YouTube. Jay, tell him where to find the podcast too, yo.
Yeah, the podcast is now available on iTunes through, subscribe to the Boxing Source podcast on iTunes. You also can find it on Anchor.fm or through Google Podcasts or Spotify. So there's multiple ways you can access the podcast.
So wait, you on iTunes and Spotify?
That's right.
Oh man, I gotta get my weight up, man. You doing big things.
Yeah, just putting in work, man. That's all I do, man.
I like it. Yo, so what you think of the card?
Man, it started out, they said that they were going to start at about 7:00. Then they didn't start their first match until about 20 minutes later. And that was the first round knockout within the first minute with Roberto Ramirez. And then after that, it took about another 30 minutes or so for the next fight to come on. So they were doing everything to try to fill that time in between. But then after that second fight, then they started to have more fights coming, back to back. So kind of like a little bit of a gap as far as like the transition from the first fight to the second fight. But then things got a little bit better as time went on.
Well, only on a 4-fight card with normally it's like 7-8 fights. And then even with that, a first round knockout throws off the time. So that always seems to happen where they try to give you the filler or a bunch of highlights that you don't want to see because you haven't seen boxing in 3 months.
Yeah. So they try to create stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, we got another guest on. We got Dev, the MMA guru from Fight Firm. Hey, Dev, what you think of the card, man?
I'm on the first round of the Shakur fight now.
I figured you're watching it as we speak. Okay.
Yeah. I figured it was what he was just saying. I figured it was going to be some technical shit going on. So I just decided to wait till the end of the card and then watch the recap. Well, replay, not the recap. First couple of fights was all right, though. I mean, outside of the first fight where he just got starched. But
Rosie Ramirez, he needed that. He really needed that. That first fight, I don't know if you saw his first fight against Adon Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Within the first 20 seconds, put Rosie on his ass with a straight right.
Get like that.
Yeah. So it goes to show you that amateur success doesn't 100% transition right away.
We just talked about that Saturday. We just was talking about that Saturday. We just talked about that Saturday. It is a big transition from amateur to pro. And I'm going to be honest, I think boxing is the hardest sport to transition from amateur to pro. And that's going to be a guy. It's way harder. Way harder.
Why would you say that? Why would you say boxing is harder?
If you just, again, how we were talking about like the headgear and the point system and the structure of it, it's a completely different style. The way you placate to the judges is different. The way you score is different. The way you see punches and deliver punches is different. Versus in MMA and kickboxing, the only difference is that you might have a slight rule limitation, like you can't throw elbows as an amateur. You might not be able to throw head kicks. Some certain submissions might not be illegal. But in terms of the judging and the format of the fight, the rounds is all exactly the same. The size gloves you wear is the same. There is no headgear, all that shit. So the transition's way easier here. Over where again in boxing it's going to be not even so much, I wouldn't even say a skill jump, but it's just you got to get comfortable to a whole new rule set essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't always translate well.
I feel like the score, the point system is like, because they don't really give you points for ring generalship in the amateurs and
right,
or body punching. So if that's your style, if you're like if you got guys, you look at him, oh, he's an amateur. He has an amateur style. Then you got guys who go to the body, take a couple rounds to gauge distance or to get timing. They got a professional style. And it seemed like those guys with the professional style just struggles in the amateurs and vice versa.
You can see it coming up even when they are amateurs. Though Shakur not doing much different than what he did when he was an amateur. I mean, he went to the body as an amateur. He played on the front foot and back foot as an amateur. He's never been one, let's say, searching for finishes, but he was never afraid to start piling on damage. He wasn't just like, I need to tag and get out the way type of guy. Same thing with, I think Vasily was a good example of that. I'm just speaking of some of the in the last decade. Of course, you got guys like the Wards and Mayweathers and stuff of that era that came out of there. But yeah, so when those guys get used to that earlier on in their career, and you start seeing them like later on in their amateur career, like once they come, if let's say they transition after the Olympics is normally when you see it, or if they do Worlds or something like that. Normally after their big show, they start taking they slow down the fight pace, like how many fights they take, the schedule, and just start slowly adding those things before they go over pro. And you see it all the time.
Now, question, right? This is for Jay. Who do you want to see Shakur, if he stays at 130, who do you want to see Shakur fight next?
See him fight next. For next, I would say use at 130 though. Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe the loser, if they make the fight, actually make that fight, that WBC title fight between Miguel Berchelt and Oscar Valdez, I would like to see him fight the loser of that.
The loser? Yeah.
Because I know that they're trying to build him and build him and build him up, but for Stevenson, to me, from what I've been told, like he's not really the goods like how ESPN is like building him up. He's not really, he doesn't really have everything complete at this particular point in his career. So it's not like he's going to be, they're trying to build him up as the next big thing, but he's not quite there yet. He's not there yet. So him going up against a guy like, Miguel Berchelt right off the rip at 130, that might be a little bit too much for him at this particular point.
Okay. Dev, who would you want to see him fight at 130?
130? I mean, not even 130. I wanted to see if he was going to move up, to be honest. I don't know.
No, Dev. He was just at 126. This was his first fight at 130.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was going to just keep moving up, to tell you the truth. He's starting to come into that he's starting to come into a little bit more of his frame, and I thought he might do like 1 or 2 at 130. I mean, to be honest, the fight I wanted to see him is start to hop in there with more of the Framptons, getting into targeting that guy a little bit more, getting into that path. Now, what you just said is true. Is he all the way there yet? Absolutely not. Does he have the skills to hang with these guys? When I got into the chat, the first thing I said was I think Tevin's a little bit too much for him. He's just now starting to find his firepower, but I would like to see him kind of carve out a path. So I don't have anybody that I particularly want to see him fight. I want him to kind of like pick a guy and start looking to work towards him. That's the thing I like to see out of young prospects is when they come out and they start getting a couple wins, start saying who you want. Almost every one of the prospects has said what they want. And I know that might not be Shakur's style, but he hasn't really carved the path in his career yet outside of just like we're building him up, but what are we building him up for? Like, do we have somebody that's on, is it somebody on the hit list that we know that every fight he's getting closer to this person? Or is he going to play the opportunistic game when he just tries to get the easiest title fight that he can, retain it for a little bit and bounce around until maybe he's 35 fights in and then start taking on the best guys? I don't know.
Hey, Dev, Hashman Boxing says he can Shakur can beat any of the champions at 130. I don't know about that. That.
Because I thought about one.
What did you talk about? Seven. Yo, Hashman, right? I think he's good, but I don't think he's special, right? I think Ron Ennis and Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez may be special.
I think thing that adds to that too is just that natural athleticism that those guys that you just said have. Like a Devin Haney has a certain tick. Like all the younger guys coming up with the name, the Lopez's, the Garcias, the Haneys, they all have a certain switch that they flip. Shakur is kind of like, we joke at the gym, he's the kid. Like he just
Yeah.
That's what he is. And like I just said, he's starting to find his power. I wouldn't so much say that he isn't special yet. He just hasn't proved why people consider him special yet. Like he seems like a very good amateur that came out and he's still just beating guys on the end of his punch. And some of the older guys, not even so much some of the older guys, some of the guys who are there to be hit, he's sitting down on the hooks a little bit more and getting them out of there. But again, he hasn't, more to what you're saying, I wouldn't go as far to say that he isn't special though.
Wait. Shakur has a better ring IQ than all the guys that I mentioned?
Ooh, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Ashman, no, baby.
No, he doesn't.
Ashman.
Not listen.
He a baby.
If he would be mentioned as special, like being in the DC area, I would have heard of that. Coming from the guys that are around the DC area, like the Gary Russell Jr.'s, the Tank Davises, the Lamont Peterson, the Peterson brothers, all of those guys that have been floating around from 126 to 147.
DC
and given the younger guys, they're at, the 126, 130, 135. Shakur Stevenson, spars with a lot of those guys. And you do not hear that when it comes to Shakur Stevenson. You don't. Yeah. So you would, if he is like pretty much that guy, like, how people, view Errol Spence Jr. with him at 147, like they were talking about Errol before he even considered contending for a world title.
Yeah.
But Shakur Stevenson, you don't necessarily hear that from the boxing peers, at least not here in the DMV.
Hey, Hashman, you wildin', bro. He said, oh my God, we bugging. He's a world champion and an Olympic silver medalist. Did Jerron even make the Olympics? No, Jerron didn't make the Olympics, but I'll tell you this, though, right? The dude that beat Shakur got beat by a journeyman his first fight. So, yeah, being an Olympic silver medalist, that matters. But I'm talking about being special. Like, the kid is good. Like, there's a lot of fighters that are really good.
Yeah, we're not taking anything away from him.
Special. Like, is he a once-in-a-generation fighter? I don't think so. Right now, I can't tell. I've seen boots. I've seen boots. Up close. Fucking special, man. He's special. Like, ain't no doubt. If you see him, there's no doubt about what you're looking at. You're looking at Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Roy Jones type of talent. I'm not saying he could be those. He's going to be those guys, but that's the type of ability that you see.
Like, my thing is when he had that world title fight, like if you view a fighter as special and you see that the opponent that they're going against really doesn't have much of a chance against them, then you watch them. You should be able to watch them. And that expectation is kind of like tied to Shakur Stevenson. But when he can't like finish guys like that, then nah. You can't view it special.
That was the switch I was talking about with the Garcias and all those other guys. Is they got a certain switch that when somebody's not supposed to be in there with them, they get them right out of there. I don't know, but the reason I'm defending Shakur is, again, for one, he's just starting to come into his power. We got to be honest. He's a young kid and he's a small kid. He's not like he's not like a dude with giant shoulders. He doesn't have like a super wide back or anything. He's built like a kid. So we don't know if he's going to develop into something yet. I do agree with the fact that he has not shown anything saying that he's special. I agree with that. I also agree that, again, because I'm in the gym world, I wasn't even, let's say, necessarily in boxing talk when I was hearing about Errol Spence. And I was hearing about him because, MMA guys will bring in boxers for our camps. And it was just one name that kept coming across, like this Errol Spence kid down in DMV fuck is he from?
Dallas.
From the South of Texas. He's just crazy. And I knew he was sparring guys coming up the East Coast and shit. He had worked with a couple guys in Florida at ATT. We had heard about that. He was like, yeah, he's just beating the shit out of people. He's like, he couldn't touch him. And the worst part was they were saying, you see him and he's beating guys up like he's just running them over in fights. But he's like, he was sparring guys defensively and they couldn't touch him. Like when you start hearing stories like that from respected camps, you know that certain fighters are special. I haven't heard anything like that about Shakur ever.
Yeah.
I've never.
I don't hear about him either.
I haven't heard it in an interview. I haven't heard it from his peers. I haven't heard it. I'll give you a perfect example. Clarissa Shields is a great friend with him and Lopez. Whenever she's in an interview, she always mentions how special Lopez is and what type of power he got and kind of killer instinct he's got. She's never said that about Shakur. And I mean, that could just be, me sideline watching, but a bunch of those things are telling about what they think. Is he a good kid? Yeah, but he's got a whole lot more to show for. I mean, he could wind up being like the next Jorge Linares, just real good, but just not that.
Yo, right. I put the invite in the in the chat. Hashman, you gotta plead your case, man. Cause you gotta come on here and plead your case. Because we give he's not explosive. He's not explosive.
Like he's kind of like kind of affiliated with being in the Virginia area, like living in the Alexandria area and that type of thing. So he trains around many of the DC, Maryland, Virginia gyms. And when you talk about that area itself, like I said, when it comes to 126 to 147 or around that range, you're gonna see like a who's who around there. And when somebody that I talk to a lot that trains a fighter here in the DC area says that his guy is able to hang with Shakur Stevenson, then I can't necessarily put Shakur Stevenson up there in like a special level, even though this guy like has trained with the Russell brothers like from his beginnings. So he went from like training and sparring with the Russell brothers to like training and sparring with Shakur Stevenson, and he's able to hang with Shakur Stevenson like that. Then, you got to be able to wash, like, pretty much like really scrap with those type of guys or scrap with anybody around the 126, 130, 135 range and say, man, he's able to do that against these guys, then yeah, he's special. But you never really hear that about Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah. All right, Joe, we got Hashman Boxing on. He accepted the challenge. All right, plead your case, cuz.
I can't believe what you guys are saying, man. I'm shocked. Are you guys serious?
Dead serious.
Oh my god. Listen, first of all, Shakur is at 126, or he just moved up to 130, and the rest of the guys are at higher weight classes. So those guys are naturally bigger, and the bigger they are, the harder they punch. You know what I mean? So guys like Devin, Ryan Garcia, Jaron Ennis, yeah, they got more power than Shakur. I agree. They punch harder than Shakur. From a technical skill set, what do they have that's better than Shakur? Technically, fundamentally, nothing. Footwork.
All this stuff is about the same.
Kobe Breedy's on the same weight class. That's the guy that I'm actually talking about.
Who?
Kobe Breedy, that is in the DC area, has trained and sparred with Shakur Stevenson on multiple occasions.
Okay. You guys are talking about sparring.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of guys who are great at sparring, and when they get in the ring, when the lights are on, they don't show.
I agree.
So for me, I'll be honest. For me, I wouldn't be the best. I'm not the best type of guy when I spar, and when I'm in a ring, I'm always beating guys like that. I just feel like sparring is you're working on things. You know what I mean? You're not going full out. You sometimes like you know what I mean. You're overweight. You're cutting weight. You don't have the sharpness yet. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that happen in sparring, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
talking
very
about
true.
in the ring. In the ring, what they showcased in the ring. Like I've seen Devin. I've watched Devin. Devin is slick. Devin is fast. But he makes. I see errors when I see Devin fighting. I see holes in Devin's game already when I've seen him fight. You know what I mean? He fights a little bit too much like Floyd.
All right, Hash. Here's a question I want to ask you.
Okay.
In terms of Shakur, what do you think he does special? Yes, he has a strong fundamental. He has a strong fundamentals. We all agree on that. No one will go against it.
Okay.
Outside of his fundamentals, what do you think is something that makes him special?
Distance. The distance the guy creates between when he fights everyone. I don't care. Oh, cool. The opponent so far ain't been the best, but the way the guy controls the fight. Like against the guy who's fighting, the guy wasn't the best, but he was fighting on the inside when he wanted to. He didn't use his jab and just box and move. Like he stick there, and I knew the way he smothers. You guys see what he does when he smothers shots. Like he blocks shots. He pulls back. He turns angles. Uses the stiff jab. Hits him to the body. Turns around and he throws like 6-7 punch combinations. There's a lot of good things Shakur does, and also defensively, he's better than all the guys you mentioned. The guy stats show it. The guy does not get hit that much in fights.
So here's something. What I'm hearing from you is the thing is his shot selection.
Yeah,
his shot. I can agree. He has very good shot selection. What I can't fully agree with in terms of his defensively is he better, and this is why. This is why. Statistically, he is better, but again, he has on paper been a little bit longer than everyone he's fought, which makes defense a hell of a lot easier. And he's fought relatively slow guys, very elbows in, walk forward type of fighters. He also isn't a risk taker, which all the guys that we named before are. They smell the blood, they go to try to get out. That's going to create some exchanges where you get touched.
Okay.
Now that is not a knock on Shakur Stevenson. I think again the main point is he hasn't shown the things that makes him special. Yes, he has good shot selection. That's very good. That's very good to have good shot selection. But there are a lot of guys that have good shot selection. He hasn't fought the competition to show what kind of ring IQ he has yet. Like we didn't know what kind of ring IQ Earl Spence had until he fought Kell Brook and had to get him out of it. And we already knew he was special.
Okay.
Hey,
wait, Hashman, I wanted to touch on something real fast. I want to piggyback what you and Dev were saying. Right. And he's a southpaw. You don't know how good a southpaw is until he fights another good southpaw. Because it's certain things that he doesn't see, like certain punches that he doesn't see as a southpaw. So you need to actually see if he has good defense, or is it just him being a good southpaw?
Okay. Yeah. What I'll say is I've seen Shakur's amateur career. I've seen what he's done in the amateurs. And there's a guy from the UK. His name's called Peter McGrail. I think he's the number one ranked fighter in the UK, and he's a southpaw. And I think he just qualified for Tokyo 2020 he just qualified, but I think the Olympics is a year back, and he's a serious talent. And when I was watching the WSB games and I was seeing Shakur fighting high-level southpaws in the WSB and his amateur fights, I'm telling you, Shakur has a lot of things he does. Like he hasn't. I don't think he's shown the ceiling yet. You know what I mean? There's so much for Shakur to grow, and the guy's IQ is. I don't know what you guys see, because me and you, obviously we have different opinions and we see different things. But
nobody had a bad IQ. It's just nothing like. It's not like he's making these decisions that are getting guys.
Yeah.
If he was using those, making the decisions.
Not everyone has the biggest power. You know what I mean? Not everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
Shakur can't punch. Listen, Shakur can't punch like Teofimo. I agree, but he doesn't get guys out of it. He doesn't have the biggest punch. You know what I mean? I think that's what you guys are like. If he had big punch, then it will be over with.
Not necessarily, because you can look at a guy like Andre Ward, who never was known for having a big punch, but he was a punisher. he would punish guys on the inside until they damn near quit. He doesn't. Again, it's not so much power; it's just the switch. We haven't seen him turn that switch on yet, where it's like it's time to get a dude out of here. Again, he's a very like he does everything perfect, and visually that could be to your detriment in terms of we don't know how special you are.
Yeah,
I can't speak for the other two. What I'm saying is I don't know how special he is because he hasn't fought the competition that made him prove that he's special. Is he solid fundamentally all around the board?
Okay.
All
Can I
around
say
the
something?
board.
Yeah, I agree. Can I say something quick? I think in his 11th fight, he took a massive step up when he fought Christopher Diaz. Are you sure? Do you guys familiar with Christopher Diaz?
Yeah, that was a good. That was a good opponent.
Yeah, Christopher Diaz, I think, was 24-1. He just fought the world champion, the Japanese world champion at 130, and he moved down at 126. A lot of guys were saying, "Oh, this is a risky fight for Shakur. This guy's got power in both hands. He's a strong fighter." And Shakur shut him out. He won every single round easily. He even went on the inside and beat the guy up late in the fight, and he won every single round. And when he fought Joe Gonzalez was a good amateur, and I think he beat Geronimo Davis in amateurs. But I think that's amateurs. Okay, this is pros. But against Joe Gonzalez, he won every single round as well. Like
but Joe Gonzalez is a young fighter too.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is he's fought two good decent level fighters. Who has Devin Haney fought? And I don't want to talk about Jaron Ennis at the moment because he's fought nobody at all. Absolutely nobody.
Okay, so I'm gonna pose the question to you, right? The guys that Devin Haney fought are on the same. The last 2 or 3 guys that Devin Haney fought is on the same level as Joey Gonzalez.
No,
Joey Gonzalez is he's a C-level fighter, and he's a C-level fighter with an undefeated record. But we can see going in
spicy.
Yeah, he's a C-level fighter with an undefeated record. It's like they beefed him up to get him a world title shot, and he was either going to win or lose, and he lost horrifically. It wasn't even competitive. Christopher Diaz, that was a good win. Jerron Boots Ennis is in a different position because he doesn't have a big promoter, and you and I both know that no promoter is going to sacrifice their B level or A level guys to a young kid that they don't have anything invested in.
You also got to remember too is that Boots is in our area, so we had a pleasure of seeing him in person, where we can see him just do stuff to other human frames that you ain't really supposed to do, and the speed and quickness and the decision making of which he does. I've trained. His father was my second trainer, and that was my second trainer ever. He had me when I was 12 years old. So I saw Boots when he was a baby. We used to hit the bag together as kids.
Yeah, but you've seen the inside of Boots. You know what he's about. You've seen how he fights. Behind closed doors, what he's like.
We can speak on it a little different. Yeah. I wouldn't put Boots in this argument just because it's going to be a bias. We've seen way more than whatever we've seen.
Oh, we got another guest. My man Darius Coit from Okoye Media. What's good, dude?
What's good, man? Y'all caught me in the middle. I'm actually mixing film up right now, man. I jumped on. I missed the party the other day. My fault, man. I got there though. I just came after you left.
We got a special guest from across the pond, Hashman Boxing, and we're talking about Shakur Stevenson and his performance. He stopped Bo with a body shot. I was impressed by how he finished the guy off, but I was telling Hashman that while I think he's very good, I'm not sure if he's special yet. What's your thoughts on it?
I guess I would have to agree with you just for the fact that like all of the young guys that's coming up, whether it's Shakur Stevens, Haney, those guys are like, to me, they're a lot like Broner was when he came out initially.
Are you talking to me or the guest?
Yeah, You know what I'm saying? They got all the potential to be at the top level wherever they want to be, but they haven't been tested yet. So you can't really make an assumption as to who they are. But you could say based off of their talent, like his talent and natural ability, he got everything you need. Especially him being a southpaw, he got everything you need. He got this in and out jerky style where he's not really there to be hit. But he's on a straight line with it though. So I don't know if he's gonna fight a dude that understands how to deal with that and how to just keep walking him down or whatever. But we'll see. Because you saw Lomachenko versus Salido as well. Like you'll fight a guy who got to kind of know what he's doing against a young kid, and that's a step up for him. And Shakur hasn't had that yet. So I love him. I love everything I see. Huh?
I said they should make some money. No need to come up and fight him.
Yeah, that's a name that he needs. I still won't believe in him, but that's a name that he needs to be able to get to the next stratosphere. I won't believe in him, even if he beat Nonito, because Nonito was late.
I'm a Shakur fan. Listen, Shakur, technically, listen, I just believe Shakur he's there.
Speaking to the mic more, Hashman.
Can you hear me?
You sound a little low.
I'll come back. 1 second.
All right.
Yeah, I think he needs someone who's going to give him a different look, like a Nonito, somebody that's still good but on their way out, or if they can find Axeman somewhere.
That's what Axeman won't want to deal with top rank after what they just did.
They lined the Axeman up.
Dirty, man.
They lined him up.
Why you say they do him dirty?
Well, first of all, before that Lomachenko fight, they almost handed them a loss with the decision.
Sosa.
Yeah, with Sosa.
Which didn't make
and then after that, it was a year and 2 months before that Lomachenko fight.
I mean, like, at the end of the day, he beat Nonito, and that puts you on that platform. You got to take big fights now. You got
Axeman, you back?
At that point,
back.
You got to remember, Axeman had a bigger win than Lomachenko at that point. So technically, Axeman was he was the step up.
He was, but it's something I noticed that promoters do, and y'all explain this to me. You and Darius, it's like there's no longer the guy who's a bum. What they do is they'll have a guy with a name or a solid record and won't give him time to prepare, or he'll have a really, really long layoff.
They show
absolutely.
Yeah. That's what you want though. If you ready though, like I know that's a reality. Oh shit. I can't see. Hold on. Oh, there you go. I took the camera off. My fault. I thought I hung up. But I know that's a reality though. Like if you want your shot, you got to be prepared for shit. Like Bernard came up that way. Like Bernard was fighting every day and every weekend and every other weekend in AC. Like they were calling. He just had to be in shape his second go round. After he lost that first fight, his first fight at cruiserweight, and he came back in middleweight. He was busy as hell, but he was busy. Like because they were trying to set him up for losses. They do that with a lot of Philly fighters, it seemed like too. Like they did the same thing to Danny Garcia. They put him against Morales. We just were talking about that the other day. They put him up against Morales, and then they put him against Amir Khan. They put him against Matisse, but they were putting him up against those guys to lose. So it's like it is fucked up that you do it, but that's a lot of times. That's the only reason we know who Danny Garcia is on the mainstream, because those types of shots and opportunities. That created Maidana too. Maidana fighting Ortiz was a classic, and him being ready for situations like that is, that's what made him. So it's a reality. It's fucked up, but you got to be ready for that.
Yeah,
that's just the game. That's just the game.
Ashman, you were making a point. Plead your case, man.
I forgot what was that.
You were saying technically you feel like he's shown more than the other guys have. Your volume went out again.
Yeah, you can't really hear you.
Yeah, you sound far away, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, I just think he's a more versatile fighter than the Devin Haney. That's for sure, in my opinion. He can fight on the inside.
Devin Haney shade? That's not like shade.
Listen, I don't know what you guys. Listen, Devin Haney is a talent. He's a good fighter, but in his last fight, he didn't look impressive to me. He looked
But how
average.
can any of these guys look impressive to you right now?
What'd you say?
Like how is what is the most impressive fight you've seen Shakur Stevenson in, and why? Like none of them are impressive.
Okay. Once Shakur took a leap in a step up against Christopher Diaz, who was fought up for a world title, who was a proven fighter, he shut him out.
Who?
Christopher Diaz. He shut him out. He won every single minute of every single round. Yeah. He won every single second.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
You never heard of him?
I'm only fucking with you, man. I'm only fucking with you. I'll give you some London humor, man. Go ahead.
That was the good one.
Can you
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just feel Shakur is more proven than he is actually more proven than both Jaron Ennis and Devin Haney.
I think Jaron Ennis, though, out of all of them, is the class though. Jaron Ennis, that's probably
Oh man, he cut off.
Something probably happened. Okay, so I want to switch topics real fast. Being that we got a UK guy here, word is that if Dillian White presses the mandatory issue, that Tyson Fury is going to petition to be the franchise champion. What's your thoughts on that?
That's some bullshit.
my bad. I don't know what happened, but
To kind of add something to that, even though Fury is Fury, remember when the WBC had suggested to have the interim WBC title fight between Dillian White and Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury in the fight? You don't that.
Wait, JR, you sound like T-Pain right now.
I thought it was me. I thought it was my connection.
Nah, you sound like T-Pain right now. WBC was supposed to have the interim for the Mando.
Yeah. But Fury was like, man, I'm Tyson Fury. Like I could just go ahead and fight whoever I want to fight. He's had that type of attitude. But as far as this thing that mandatory, BBC is more like money based. So they're not going to have that mandatory happen before another wilder fight if it gets delayed that far, or an undisputed title fight. Like they're not going to do that. So just for this mandatory. So no, I just don't see it happening like that. And I don't see Fury being a franchise champion or having him elevated to franchise champ.
You think they're just not going to order the Mando?
They're not going to order the Mando, or they're going to just have it to the point where the fight between Fury and Wilder has already happened, and then they're going to go for the undisputed title fight.
Okay, I can see that. They give what's your thoughts?
I agree 100%. I feel like Dillian White need to go make some new friends. Or something. He keep barking up trees he can't climb and shit. And I don't know. Realistically, Dillian White is going to be in the same position for at least another 2 years or so.
Going into that, like there's been times when fighters have held the interim title for the WBC and have not fought for the actual WBC title for up to 2 years. So, so that's not anything that's new. The only thing is that WBC kissed Golovkin's ass. That was it. But other than that, they let people hold the interim WBC title for a good amount of time before they actually
fight. You still bitter about that? You still bitter about that, Jack?
I'm telling you, man, fuck Golovkin, man.
Why you? Golovkin did what he was supposed to do.
Hash man, what's your thoughts, Hash man?
It's crazy that the amount of time that Dillian White's been. I think how long has he been number one contender for? Like 800 days, something like that. Something like
Number one contender, yeah, it's been about two and a half years.
2.5 years. Yeah, 2.5
You
years.
can't make money with Dylan White.
how?
though. You ain't gonna
Yeah,
make no
what?
money.
Like, how can you be that a number one contender for that long and not fight for the world title? It's crazy.
Escalator Alvarez.
Yeah, Alida Alvarez did that with
But he kept taking step aside money.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Yep. And they're
Yeah,
under the same management group.
The thing
So-
is I think it's a bit Dylan White is too far in the WBC to relinquish his position and go to a different sanctioning body, and that's what he should have done. He should have went the WABA route or the IBF. The IBF is very, very strict. I think if he went the IBF route, he could have got his world title already. Look at Pulev. Pulev pulled out of the fight against Joshua 2017, and now he's mandatory again. You know what I mean? So Dylan White he went the wrong. When they were treating him like shit, he should have just left. But what can he do now? You just got to wait till February 2021. I still don't think he's going to fight then. I think Fury and Wilder are going to get the trilogy on. The winner gets... I don't know. If Fury wins, then he's probably going to become a franchise champion. And then White is probably going to fight for the world title, the vacant world title. Stuff like that. So, yeah, man. It's corrupt, man. But it's we beat crooks in the WBC. So...
This is the one part about boxing that I hate. The one part is this politic and shit.
Corey, what's your thoughts on it, man?
I mean, as a fan, I would like to see Dylan White fight, the top level. But business-wise, I understand. Like, you can have a mouth like Dylan White has, right? Where he just like says what he wants. When you're like Shannon Briggs, where you're old in the game, you got to kind of talk your way into fights and you already established your name. But when you're dangerous and you're coming up, you don't want to be too dangerous in the game too soon. And he's too dangerous, obviously, where they see that he can give him a rumble, enough of a rumble, but at the same time, there's no marketability there if he does win. So nobody wants to give him a shot because nobody wants to have that problem on their hands. They don't want to own Dylan White's contract. So it's like, why would we play with him? We can't make no money with him afterwards. So he's not gonna get a shot. Like, I mean, that's just real shit. That's business wise. As a fan, yeah, you can say what you want. But what you gonna do with it? Who lining up to buy pay-per-view for the next Dylan White show? Anybody?
To be honest, Dylan White is kind of a draw in the UK. I'm not sure in America, but in the UK, yeah, he is. He actually is. To be honest, because I remember when he fought Chisora in December 22nd. Like, they did around 500,000 buys on pay-per-view in the UK, and they sold out the arena. They sold out the whole arena.
How much was those pay-per-views? $6?
No. You disrespect.
What about the Reeves fight?
I think our money currency is yours is double ours. So I think £20 is probably $40. So roughly probably $40 a pay-per-view and 500,000 of the people. So yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well. He's getting a lot of money. He's making a lot of money. But he's
okay. So Hashman, you Eddie Hearn, right? Eddie Hearn. You got Anthony Joshua, right, under your contract, right?
Yeah.
You give Dylan White a shot to beat your guy after what you just went through with the Mexican?
No chance.
Not a chance. So it's not gonna happen. You want money fights only. It's like that's not a money fight. That's just something to do, but it's too dangerous to do it. Like, why do it? You can fight Brazil and knock him out in 20 seconds. Why fight Dylan White, who actually gonna try to win and probably could? Like, won't want to fuck with.
Yeah. The thing is, Dylan White was offered to fight AJ before Jerome Miller in the Wembley, and he turned down $5 million at the time.
Yeah, it's the way you do it though. See, like, I might call you and say, "Yo, you want $5 million?" But if I ask you something totally disrespectful in the contract, go ahead.
There was way more money in the pot. There was way more money in the pot that Dylan White thought he knew his worth. He knew he was more than $5 million. And now exactly. And now look at the revenue. Look how much money is being spent nowadays in America. I think Mikey Garcia got $7 million to fight Jesse Vargas.
So why would a heavyweight do that for a major mainstream fight? Even though that's probably more than what he made.
Yeah, now he's definitely getting 15 to 20 million a fight when he fights.
The going rate for Joshua fight is what, 7 minimum for an opponent.
I think Dylan White
for no name opponent.
For an opponent.
I think Dylan White is 15 to 20 million if he fights AJ now.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. 15 million.
Hey,
He would.
What? Wait,
100%.
what do I get for the Marius Rock fight? Like, even for that one, like, how much was they paid?
The thing about Dillian White is he's been making more than a million, 2 million paydays when he fought Rivas, Chisora. He fought 4 pay-per-view fights. He had another one with Povetkin at the Manchester Arena, what holds I think 20,000 people. So he was getting good.
That's
checks.
a good fight. People want to see that fight.
Yeah.
That's a good.
So
Yeah.
he's been on pay-per-view I think 4 or 5 times already in his career. That's crazy. He fought Joseph Parker, that was on pay-per-view. He fought Chisora, that was on pay-per-view. He fought Rivas, that was on pay-per-view, and he fought AJ, that was on pay-per-view. So he's got a bit of a following over here in the UK. He's bigger than what you guys think.
Oh, I can imagine him being big in the UK. I mean, just through the rivalry, he's kind of
AJ,
talked
yeah.
to Joshua. Yeah,
And
that's
the
going to boost
Chisora,
his status just off that.
and his knockouts has got him a lot of attention. When he knocked out Chisora on pay-per-view, that
I mean, he can
boosted-
fight.
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
fight. He can fight. He can talk. I can imagine, on Homeland, he's good. I'm letting you know right now, it's not the same internationally. Like if we can go in gyms and they might not know who this dude is.
100%. I agree.
And that's no disrespect to him. He a hell of a fighter.
And to be honest, boxing's like that. 95 to 98% of boxers are like that. Look, Errol Spence's a big name in boxing, but compared to other athletes in American sport like basketball and NBA, he's only got 500,000, 600,000 followers, and these guys got like tens of millions of followers. You know what I mean? So boxing, I won't say boxing is a niche sport. Boxing is bigger than that, but boxing is not compared to other sports. So even these guys internationally going around the world, they're not going to be known.
See, the thing is, you got to. Okay, so Errol Spence is boring. Errol Spence is a boring person. There are more people who know who Adrian Broner is.
Yeah.
No, we being honest.
I'm saying, man, I don't really do that much, man. I just chill out, man. I mean, just go in my car, and that's what I do, man. Sharp season, man down. Line them up, I'm knocking them down.
There are more people that know who Gervonta Davis and Adrian Broner is than Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. And Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford are much better.
There's more people that know who Devin Haney is.
Yes, but Devin Haney was banging Black China. It makes you relevant. It makes you relevant in like hip hop and popular culture.
Like you just called that grown ass man Anna Nicole Smith. You're like
the sparring.
Hey man, it's relevant. But yeah, so
Anna Nicole Smith
Deontay,
ass boxer.
At first, Deontay Wilder was in that boat, and then he did some things to take him. He went viral. He took himself.
But they all trying to go viral though. Like Deontay, that speech he just did the other day was like, I couldn't stand it. Like they trying too hard to be viral though. Like you trying. Stop. Just say what you feel and it'll go viral anyway because it's you. Yeah. Don't try. Once I see you trying it, like all this and then the extra. The oomph that he put into it, like he tried to recapture the to this day moment.
Yeah,
again, and
till
he
this
can't
day
recapture
was authentic. To this day,
right, that was real, and now he trying to live in it. And he can't live in it. Yeah, the other one wasn't authentic. It was too much, too much ecstasy.
That's his Netflix tryout and shit.
He looked like the fake Philly protesters, man.
He said it's his Netflix tryout.
Yo, what happened?
He getting ready to be on Us Part 2 and shit. He out there getting ready. I'm in the woods. I got this video on. He trying to show his art. He trying to show his camera angles and his artistic vision. Yeah. His vocal range and shit. It's like, bro, calm the fuck down. It's a 2-minute clip.
Because somebody told him after the first joint, like they said, Deontay, that was kind of dry. I didn't feel the to this day moment. You might want to record that again. He's like, you think so? What part didn't I capture? You think so? I thought I nailed it.
Yeah, we gotta work on this a little bit more. Okay.
We'll come back.
I want to know how. I want to know how many takes.
Right? How many takes did he take?
I want to know how many takes did he take.
Oh no!
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
How many takes? Hey, Hash man, I need to ask you a question though. And now I'm gonna get a little serious.
Yeah.
I don't. The temperature on Anthony Joshua right now after he made that speech. What is it in your country? Because I've been seeing things online, and I just want to ask somebody firsthand.
What
have you seen the shift?
You know what is the UK is a weird country. It's like 1 minute you're a villain, then the next minute you're a hero. I'm telling you, I know how it goes. As soon as AJ starts fighting, these Brits are gonna come out and support him again. It happened before, and it will happen again. There's always, but I think it's crazy. It just shows a lot of how much racist people they are. You know what I mean? And the amount of AJ's got a lot of. The thing about AJ is a lot of guys wanting to be Frank Bruno 2.0. Don't talk about Black Lives Matter. Don't protest. Just get your money and fight.
You went out, bro.
Hear me? Hello? Yeah. A lot of guys wanting to be another Frank Bruno, just keep quiet and be a fan-loved guy. You know what I mean? But AJ's bigger than that, man. AJ, you know what I mean? AJ's shown his true colors, man. He's supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. He's protesting. He's telling people. But a lot of things what AJ does is once he says something, they blow it out of proportion. Like when he was talking about help support the black businesses, help your own. You know what I mean? He didn't say don't go to white shops and boycott. But the media just twist it and they make it sound as bad it is. And then when the articles and the Mirror, these big newspapers come out, the biasness, and then a lot of people see the headlines without doing their research, and then they act upon what the headline says, and then that's when he gets the negative hate and the things. You know what I mean? Because a lot of guys are just they don't use their brain. You know what I mean? They don't think before they react. You know what I mean? They don't do the research. They don't see nothing. It's like a video. You know, when a video comes up, the thumbnail says a fighter says this about their favorite fighter, but then when you watch the video, oh, he didn't mean in that way. Before, and then when I see the comments,
I've done that.
You be doing that.
I do that shit. Hey Darius. All right, so basically Joshua had a rally in his hometown. So there was a speech that was there was a speech that was going around. Huh?
Did they get the real protesters? They got the real Johns. They got the real protesters or the fake ones? What type of protesters they had?
I think these were real.
Oh, they was real.
Yeah, they were real.
It wasn't real here. I can tell you that.
No.
Go ahead. But that's the game they playing. Like I don't know who getting the real ones or who getting the fakes. They be having me. I was arguing with my mom, and she dealing with real protesters. Like, no, we's peaceful. We doing this and that. I'm like, don't go out there, mom, because she in Texas though. So in Philly, I'm like, here, I'm down the street. I'm on 52nd Street, so on downtown. We couldn't even get downtown. And it was a whole army of people destroying Center City. And, you know, I don't know about you down there, Hash Man, but where everybody at on here. But it was a bunch of white dudes. I'm like, I ain't never seen more white people mad about some black shit than black people. I never seen that. And that's what was happening here. So how I feel about Joshua speaking on it, I think black athletes at this time, I think black athletes, period, I understand where they're coming from, but until the smoke clears and they understand what's really going on, I think, you know, his heart was in the right place. So I don't got no problem with Joshua saying what he said at all. Even if, you know, I don't know what he said, but I don't have a problem with him speaking up for Black Lives Matter or black business or none of that. But the dude who runs Black Lives Matter, he might want to do some research on who that is. And what he is, and then maybe he'll make some sense. Because you don't want to side with that and not know what you're doing.
Later date.
When it all come out, you're gonna be in some shit.
Yeah, that's for later date. That's for later date. That's our, you know,
I can't wait for that. I gotta give it to you. Personal. I can't wait for that date. Yeah. I gotta say, real recognize real though. I know all y'all know that was for that date.
Guys, you know what's crazy that happened in the UK the other week? Can you guys hear me?
That's happening worldwide, bro. Like I'm glad there's some protests happening, but for the real ones that's happening. But you ain't never seen nothing this organized. Like a protest or a riot is chaos, right? How you have this much organized chaos? That's an oxymoron within itself. Organized chaos. So they in every city at the same time and traveling that much money. Who got that much bread to organize that many people that fast? You know what I mean? But oh well, we ain't get this ain't what that's about though. But I'm just saying, and people in general that are in the public might want to be careful about publicly speaking inside with certain shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
YouTube's been on some stuff, so we gotta leave that for.
Yeah, YouTube shut me down. I can't even get on YouTube, and I'm a YouTuber. They block me. I gotta prove I ain't a robot whenever I say anything because they like this nigga talk too much. So I talk too much. I need to shut up.
Hey, I'm telling you. So,
listen.
Yeah. I'm just curious.
I see everybody shaking their head like, dude.
No, I know.
OG from the boxing source, he ain't even said that. He just sitting there like,
I know.
I won't even comment.
I know the whole
I know
thing.
you know, guys. I see how you move when I said it. He know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So that's a whole different story, man.
That's all.
We know exactly
the thing, man.
We don't even need to say it. It is exactly what it is, right? So
truth stand alone, man.
Oh shit! Next, Alexander Gavazzi.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Damn.
I'm actually
I don't know
Gavazzi,
Gavazzi.
I'm a big fan of that, man. Damn. That hurt me.
30.
Who
He's 33
y'all
years
want?
old, 17 fights.
Why is he retiring?
It's a mix. I think it's a mix of different things, you know.
Oh.
I think the fight with Beterbiev when he got stopped and also the Stevenson fight, it takes a psychological damage in your head when you've nearly killed a man, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, man. That's what I think, but you know, it might be a deeper meaning.
He was the one D that put Adonis in a coma.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean that could fuck somebody up, I think. But I mean, the hash man, depending on the reason you box though, like I don't know, maybe Philly a little different. They got some hearts here, but just like in the military, when it comes to like certain Marines and certain soldiers, some of these and cops too. I think a lot of fighters sign up because they like hurting people. Like a lot of them do. Now there's some who want the David Haney's and the Shakurs and the Floyds. They just want the purest artistic flow of it, and that's why they do it, or maybe the money from it. But a lot of these guys don't mind the hurt business because that's why they in it. They looking to hurt you, you know. So I don't think he retired because he hurt somebody, but I don't know the fighter either. But I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
And also, he was in the hospital after Beterbiev. Yeah. He was in the hospital after Beterbiev over a couple shots in the back of the head. He went to hospital the next day. So that could psychologically affect him, saying, "Oh, I was in the hospital." Yeah. You never know if next time stuff could happen to me. You know, when you got demons in your head, when you got thoughts, is scary, man. Boxing's a scary sport.
Yeah, when the reality is, once you do something to somebody, you realize it can be done to you.
Yeah.
There you go. That makes more sense.
Yeah. You feel me? And when you do a guy the way he did Stevenson, because it wasn't like he caught on one shot. He really, it was bad. It was sad to watch. Once he started connecting, it was sad to watch. And when you start having those questions, it's like, if I get into a war and I get stopped, can that happen to me? And if it does happen to me, am I going to go back home? Am I going to come back home able to speak? And, you know, if it happens to me, am I even going to realize it until the next day when I'm in my car and I just wake up on the side of the road? That's how a lot of these concussions work on a serious level. If that's not even get put into a coma. I can speak personally. I remember I was sparring light with somebody, and he didn't even hit me hard, and I forgot a whole day.
Damn.
It was that bad. It was that bad. I don't remember anything. I remember getting in the car, and the only thing I remember was my son's name and how to drive to my house. Well, and I don't remember anything else. And it wasn't like
Damn.
I didn't get caught with a hard shot. We were literally demonstrating sparring. It was a shot that I didn't see in the right. And I'm like known for having a good chin. Like I'm a middleweight that spars with heavyweights, and I'm fine. And I done spar with big heavyweights like Damani Rock. Me and him used to get it in when we was younger. And I can take those shots. If you don't know Damani Rock, he can fucking punch.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, he can, and
y'all
I'm
wanna
fine
laugh,
with
yo? I remember him as a child.
that. Me and his pops and my pops go way back.
He was
He
in
was a
Counter Punch,
badass
right?
little kid who used
He
to
was in a
run.
documentary.
Badass grown man.
That's crazy. I'm sorry that happened to you too, bro. Like for real.
No,
Sorry that
it
happened to you. That's
was
some
something.
scary shit.
It
Yeah,
wasn't.
it is.
It's something that you realize because like I've been in war since I was a kid. Coming up under Bozy. When you were a kid,
Oh,
I
I
can
already know.
my first experience with Bozy was walking into a gym at 12. He asked me how much I weighed. I said I'm like 170. I've always been a big dude, and he's
That's
like,
dog meat now. You know that now. That's dog meat waiting to happen. Dog meat.
and then he's
You
like, I got
ready?
some work for you. And later on, I just see some dude walk in, and he's about my size. Bozy says, get in the ring. I ask how much time we got. He don't say nothing. This back at the dungeon. This ain't even at the gym yet now. This back who's in that up on
Dungeon,
Garfield.
okay.
That's Garfield. We was in the basement and shit. We just sparred until I couldn't do it no more. Like I've been in war since I was a kid. I got tapped in the wrong spot. And that was the thing that gave me the damage. And I've been hit way harder after, way harder before, and I've still been fine. I've been in a fight where I got clipped real hard. The only loss that I've had in 20 years of fighting. I've been fighting since I was 7 years old. 20 years of fighting. I got one loss in that fight. Even when I got dropped, everything I saw it coming. I felt it. It was just that you can't take but so much after a while before the ref steps in. But it was 2 minutes straight, and I remember everything happened. I got tapped in a demonstration. I forgot a day. So those type of things are realizations that it doesn't have to be the hard shot. It could be the jab that you didn't see, and next thing you know, you can't speak. And when you done put a guy in a coma, I think it hit. Like all fighters have this in the back of their head, which is why we all at some point say, it's time for us to start fighting. We're not smart enough. We need to have people around us who are smart enough. And the ones that don't have it, obviously, we start seeing that happen to them in their careers. And it happens over and over. Roy Jones being the perfect example. And just, But anyway, I think that plays a lot into that decision to when you done put somebody in the coma and shit like that. Every knockout that I have, I always tell my family, like, it could be me. That's why I never get super excited over a knockout. I go over, I hug them, I make sure they okay. Because if I get something happen to me, I'm doing it to people. So I know it can happen to me that quick. And it plagues my mind. And I know other fighters, it plagues their mind. And I haven't put anybody in the coma.
Hashman, the trainer that he's talking about, that's Jerron Ennis's dad and trainer.
Yeah, Bozy. That's his dad.
Yeah.
Bozy. I remember I got in trouble with the kid because I said Bozy sounded like Newports that could talk. And he kicked my ass. He do. He sounded like a box of cigarettes all the time.
Yeah. But he'll get in there and whip your ass with the quickness, though. He can move. Bozy will
He's still in shape. He's still in shape.
I would like to see Clarissa Shields. I would like to see her people try to sucker punch Bozy. Bozy will whoop somebody's ass in Detroit.
Yeah. Now, Hashman, the reason why I think Boots is so good, right? Number one, he's a switch hitter. Number two, even though he fights at 147, if you see his brothers and see his dad, you know
160,
that he's about to age out soon.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
He doesn't have his man body yet.
Jerron Ennis is the guy. He's power. I can see the way he punches, man. He can punch, man. And the dude he fought in his last fight, he's not the best of fighters, but he fought a guy called Caraballo, I think.
The Russian dude, right?
Yeah, you guys know Caraballo?
Yeah.
He went the distance. Sabai went the distance with him. You couldn't hurt him. He threw bombs, and Geronimo hurt him in the first round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of power. Got a lot of
Yeah.
power.
I had a guy spar Gerard last year, but like probably like 6 months ago. It was October of last year. And they went about 4 or 5 rounds. One of my guys from one of my fighters from Morocco, named Anas Masoudi. He went with him. He went in with him for about 4 rounds, 5 rounds, but he quit. He quit on him because he thought I wanted him to go. They go 4.5 minutes or 4-minute rounds, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, he's from out of town. I had him already sparring. He was sparring J-Rock already. So he didn't want to get that much damage in, but we had came to Bosie's gym just to stand around, like meet him or whatever, and Bosie didn't let us spar Boots that day. And I knew he wasn't going. I told Mill, I said, yo, they're not gonna let us spar because he want to see, who we are first. So he made him spar somebody else. Then we came back to spar. With the day that he came back to spar, we were supposed to go back four rounds, and he wound up going 5, right? But 5 4-minute rounds. Boots turned up on him. I could tell Boots was trying to hurt him because, I mean, that's what happens. You dog meat when you come from an out-of-town gym and you start trying to. I told him this, though. I said, stop trying to knock these guys out because Philly is different and they're going to take it personal. Once your name get around, you're going to show up and people not going to be sparring you. They're going to be
each other. We do it to each other,
right.
So we ain't gonna other fight nobody else come up. It's like gang banging in Philly for real. If you from a different gym and y'all come down, when we go to a different gym, it be like they girls coming, they kids coming, no cameras is out. It's a real. Like when they come to our gym and they come to spar like Paul and guys like that, or I might get some working with some of the bigger guys. We shut the gates, no cameras on. I mean, all the members gotta leave. Like all my people that's doing cardio classes, y'all, it's time for y'all to go.
Yeah.
No, ain't no after class. Right. And then we just get it in. And we just get it in. And we we line it up like it's a team sport. But like you got your 5, we got our 5. And if somebody get done dirty, the next match is going. And if you got 3 or 4 guys the same weight, it's fit to be hell that night.
Yeah, it's gonna be a round robin. But so I had him in with J-Rock already, so he ain't want to deal with Boots too much because Boots was trying to kill him. But he was dealing with him though. He was banging with him. He just not as slick. He a European fighter. That's why he came here though. He came here for Boots for that type of ass whooping because he needs to get that ripple. He need to understand how black guys move, and you're not going to get that fighting white guys in Belgium. So he had to come here. No racist thing in that at all. Just that's real shit. You just got to come here to get that type of ripple, and he got it. He got it. So he did, if I say he would be an opponent at this point for Boots, like the way he sparred him, he did good enough to hit him. He was hitting him good. He was hitting him solid. He stayed in there with him 5 4-minute rounds, but Boots was like trying to take the air out of him. And Boots hit on another level because Nas knocked out everybody that we sparred. And I will tell you, he did pretty damn good against J-Rock. And J-Rock was like 170. And this is before J-Rock fought that kid that he just lost to. So he sparred with him for the
He sparred him for the Hurricane.
For the Herd fight too, yeah. For the Herd fight too, yep. We were the spar partners for her, and we were the spar partners for this one. But he did good against J-Rock. That's why J-Rock called him back. Boots is smaller. Boots 104. He's probably 145 when we seen him. Boots he on a different level, man. He a different type. That's why when y'all say he better than when he say Shakur and Haney, I haven't been around those two dudes to be in their presence. But you can feel certain energy, and you can tell when certain people not even using all of their capacity, and they still got it. So if you got it and you're not trying, you got it for real. And Boots he ain't turned up yet. He was boxing him like he was doing everything he could. But I can tell just being just me fighting, me training fighters, I know he wasn't trying his hardest because of Bosie's body language let me know that he wasn't trying because Bosie was chilling too. And I said, yo, if his dad not really intense into it, because Bosie intense when he fucking drinking water. So if he not intense, you're not really doing nothing yet. Boots not even trying yet. But then when he turned up, it was like, they went like 1.5 rounds of actual high level, let's go. And then at the end of it, they was like, yo, let's go again. And he walked out the ring. I said, yo, what the So I cursed him out because I'm like, you don't do that here, bro. Like, I'm not here to get you hurt. But I said all that to say Boots, you know, I'm not trying to disrespect Stevens and I'm not trying to disrespect Haney. I respect those young guys. I watch what they do and I watch how they work out on YouTube only. I've seen Boots work out in person, and it's a difference between the way certain fighters work today and fighters are old worked out. And Boots work out like an old school fighter because that's the way his dad trained everybody. So, and he his son, so he gotta listen. So I don't think they can fuck with Boots, man. I just don't. I don't.
Boots got a certain switch that one, and you saw that when he fought the Russian dude. Because you remember he hurt him early, but then the Russian dude just started, you know, hands up, recovered a little bit, started trying to press Boots. And then once it was, I don't know if it was the fourth or fifth. It's been a minute since I've seen the fight, but the round where he just finished it, his pops just like, yeah, it's time to get him out of here, and he just went out there and took him out. That's the second Shakur don't have. It was like your pop saw that you hurt him. He let you get a couple of those courtesy rounds in. Go ahead, get your rounds in. And all right, now it's 4 or 5 rounds in. Turn that switch on. And he just got him.
Yeah, go ahead, get him out of here.
Yeah, because that was the AUBOV, and you know, once that first, pretty much it was that first minute when he was there at AUBOV and he knocked him down. So he could have, like, you know, ended it right there, but he just, you know, scaled it back a little bit. Like I said, took his time in those couple of other rounds, and then on the 4th round, he just turned it on and, you know, just got him out of there.
It's one thing to just turn up the pace. It's another thing to, when they say go get him out of there, you just get him out of there. Because he just went out there and just unleashed hell on him. Like, it was nowhere for dude to hide. He's ripping him to the body, ripping him up straight up the middle. The dude couldn't move backwards. He tried coming forward. Every time he pressed forward, Boots would sneak that hook in right behind his ear, and then when he went backwards, he was ripping his body in those uppercuts. It was terrible. It was just it was showing that I could have done this whenever I wanted to. I wanted to get these rounds on the rope with a good strong puncher that I can't really move around like that. He got those ropes and he just took them out. Shakur again is doing everything perfect, but he don't have that switch yet. And the reason that might be to his detriment is because in certain fights you're gonna need to have that switch. Yeah, we know if Boots get pressed, he can turn on kill mode. We haven't seen kill mode from Shakur. Even in the fights he stopped guys. I just don't think he's.
What I'm trying to tell Hashman is, this early, I need to see that. I need to see, like, okay, anybody notice this little thing that Devin Haney has, this punch where he'll throw a jab to your body and he throws like a looping right hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like that's his skill shot. And I've seen him baptize people with that in sparring and in the real fight. That's his kill shot. Shakur, I need to see that.
Shakur got a sneaky left uppercut. He got a sneaky left uppercut. I ain't gonna hold you.
Today was a good performance because he got dude out of there. He did exactly what he had to do. He got dude out of there. But I want to say this to y'all, right?
He throws at the same pace. The big shots. He throws a lot of shots at the same pace.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
The next generation, right? You have the next generation of fighters, right? You got your Shakurs. We're probably going to end up seeing Shakur versus like a Fulton, Shakur versus probably
Gary.
Eventually Gary, eventually Devin.
These things
you know what fight I want to see? I want to see is Fulton versus Tremaine Williams.
He may not have a choice.
Are you guys familiar with Tremaine Williams?
I've heard the name, never saw him fight though.
I think he's 19-0, and he's a good amateur. I think he had like 107 amateur records, something like that. He's a southpaw. Okay. He's at super bantamweight, the same weight as Fulton. That's a good fight. Check him out. He's a good fighter.
Okay. I'm going to say the Philly in me is going to say that Fulton's going to beat his ass.
No way.
But that's the Philly.
No way. Listen, I'm telling you.
I haven't seen him, but I said the Philly in me is going to say.
Yeah. I think he's from New Haven, Connecticut, somewhere like that.
Who's that?
I think he's from New Haven.
New Haven? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna definitely check him out.
I'm interested.
I want to see.
Go ahead.
Would you say that?
I was gonna say I was pointing at it earlier, but I would be interested to see Shakur against some of the smaller guys they came up, like the Nonitos and the Carl Framptons and such like
Nonito?
that. Yeah, why not?
He's
He
at,
can come
he's
up.
at 118.
He get fat. He can come up. Get
Nah,
his
man.
fat.
He has fought at what 126 before though.
Yeah.
Shakur's done at 126 in my opinion.
You think? You think that's
Well,
it? His body looked good at
Yeah.
130. His body looked good.
But I'm saying somebody like Nonito on his, guys on their way out, they normally start coming
I
at
want to
higher
see
weight
Valdez.
classes.
I want to see Stevenson punish from Valdez.
Okay.
That dude ducked him. He vacated and moved up.
Hey, that's why I said I was like
You know what's crazy? He said
that
that he would fight.
loser.
I don't agree with that sentiment.
You know why? Shall I tell you why? He said he would fight
Go ahead.
Carl Frampton at 126, or he's moving up. So why could he not
Mhm.
defend against Shakur Stevenson?
That is very true. That is very true. Was very open about the Carl Frampton possibility too. So
And he got lucky in his last fight. Not lucky. I wouldn't say lucky, but he got away with it. I think the referee stopped it a bit too early.
how high is Frampton for it?
What did you say?
How high is Frampton for it?
Well, I think he's gonna fight
130?
He's gonna fight at 130. Because you remember they were trying to have him fight
Listen, I'm from the UK. And I'm telling you, Jamel
Herring.
Herring is gonna punish him. He's gonna punish.
Yes, Jamel Herring is fucking huge, yo.
And Jamel Herring he's got dog in him. He can fight. He can fight on the inside as well. But he's gonna punish Carl Frampton.
Hey Dev, when you see him up close, you're gonna be like, you fight at what? 130? No, you don't. You lying.
Have you seen our kid Sticks from our gym yet?
No, what's his real name?
Sticks. That's what we call him. He ain't got no real name. We took it away from him. He's the kid that you had the coach Albie on last time, and we missed when Shakur came to our gym. We missed that opportunity to spar with him. But but you talk about guys that are big. This kid is 6'5", and he can fight at 130. And
that's almost like oh shoot, who was? Then they just said the guy the one guy that was in the Wilder Fury 2 card. It was like the first fight of that pay-per-view. Like, who was that guy? Oh shoot.
He competed at the Golden Gloves at 140. He walked around like 147. He competed at the Golden Gloves at 140. Took out the number one seed in 2 rounds. And the weird thing about him being 6'5" at 130 is that he can punch and he got a chin. He spars Paul.
Okay.
They bring and Paul to be the first one to tell you like that boy. You can't play with that boy. He's 6'5" is 6'5" no matter what your weight class is.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. That was the other guy. Sebastian Pandora, but he's at super welterweight.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Sebastian Pandora.
Sebastian Fedora.
Yeah.
Hey, Hashman.
Yo.
Paul Crawl.
I know about him.
Remember that name.
I know about him. He good. He trains with Greg Hackett, I think. Is that his coach?
That's our gym, yeah.
Yeah, he can
fight.
Yeah,
that's Dev's gym.
I see him. He was Olympian, or was he Olympic trial winner? Something like that.
Yeah, he was on the Olympic team.
Yeah. He boxed Shakur Bunch. I watched that fight on ESPN. That was a good fight.
Oh, that was a good fight. Shakur Bunch is the goods, man.
I'm just worried about his gas.
Shakur Bunch.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he's out of what? Shakur is out of Trenton?
Trenton, New Jersey, yeah.
I want to see Shenard and Shakur. That would be a good sparring.
What do you guys rate Chris Colbert?
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty good.
Who do you think is a better switch hitter, him or Ennis at the? Because he knocked out he knocked out that dude. What, he didn't knock out Beltran? I think he's developing his power.
Okay, so B-Hop, he's too flashy.
Okay.
I feel like you can be flashy in spots, but I feel like he tries to put on too much of a show sometimes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it gets him in trouble. Like that was a good fight.
Yeah.
What are you
Against
talking about,
Morales.
Mel?
You know what I like? He
Little
made
Diop, Chris
adjustment.
Colbert.
You know what I like about
Oh.
Colbert? He made adjustment in the fight against Corrales. In the first 6 rounds,
Yeah.
it was boring. He wasn't
Yeah,
really doing
that was a good
anything.
fight too.
Just
Yeah.
for Corrales,
And those
yeah.
type of fights, you know what's crazy? Those type of fights are very risky because when I watched Easter versus Barthélemy, it was like those two guys were doing enough to have a draw. They weren't. No one was
So boring.
boring. It was like that type of fight was like, you know what,
Horrible.
the judges couldn't separate them because they were exactly doing the same thing. And against Corrales and but B-Hop, I think B-Hop was edging the rounds, but it was too. In some cases, the judges might have it even. So when he went orthodox and he put the high guard up and he started walking him down, Corrales always wants to hold him, and Shakur was Colbert was working his body and he found the opening and he just beat him up at the end. So yeah, man, these guys are more these guys are more versatile than what I like. I like about what I've seen in Shakur today. He was staying in the inside. He was working in the inside. He wasn't just moving around. You know what I mean? So I like when guys are doing more than one thing. So middle distance, inside, long range.
Here's a question for Lil. Why do you think that Tevin versus Shakur would be a good fight?
Who, me? Oh,
For
Me?
Lil. Yeah.
Oh, because you're going to give. It's finally we're going to see Shakur against another slick softball.
But
Because
you don't think that's too much of a step up?
no way.
he's supposed to listen. If you're saying this dude's the next big thing, right? Tab's coming off of what? A loss to Jojo Diaz. He got 5 losses. If the next big thing can't beat a top level guy with 5 losses, then he's not the next big thing.
You know what?
See, you saying those 5 losses, it wasn't like
Yeah.
like Kev got 5 losses, but he's proven that he belongs in there with anybody though.
Can I say something?
But
Who has 7 beat? Who has 7 beat?
James Tennyson.
Who has who?
Who? Shakur struggled. Shakur beat Billy Dib, but that was an ugly fight.
You talking about Tev?
Yeah, I haven't been that impressed with Tevin. I'll be honest.
Oh no, Tev has beaten no one. I'm gonna be perfectly
So
honest.
I wasn't surprised when he lost to Jojo Diaz, and I believe.
Jono. Yeah.
Listen, Jojo Diaz will be an easier fight. I think Shakur will beat
No
Jojo
one.
Diaz
He's
easier.
beaten no one.
I think Jojo Diaz will be easier.
They've carefully moved Tev.
Mm-hmm.
They did a good job.
He wasn't
because
that slick.
He wasn't. Jono Carroll, that was a good win. Jono Carroll was a good win.
Yeah.
That was a good fight too.
Yeah. That was okay win. I don't really rate Jono Carroll, but yeah.
Yeah.
He beat Quick, but Quick was washed and he was old and he moved up.
How do you see Shakur versus Tevin going?
That's gonna be like Willie Monroe and Billy Joe Saunders. It's gonna be a boring.
That's
fight.
Exactly what I think it's gonna be. It's gonna be the stupidest, most boring fight ever. It's gonna be Tev doing this shit. We put his hands here. Just look.
Tev's gonna look up in the ceiling. I don't know. What was he in his last fight? He just looked off. I know Jojo Diaz beat him up, but he just looked weird. Tevin just looked weird in that fight.
You know what I think it was? I think that he wasn't expecting JoJo to be as fast as early as JoJo don't got no real feel out rounds. He just come out.
Yeah.
He came straight after it. And I think Tevin normally gets 2 or 3 rounds to get into a rhythm where he can start seeing how you react to all feints. He start realizing how far back he can slip out. Tevin not a puncher, so he can't really get in and start exchanging early, especially with somebody like Jojo Diaz, who is explosive as all hell. And JoJo is just on his. JoJo looked like Maidana in that fight. He was just all over it.
Yeah. And also JoJo was drained at 126.
True.
And I thought he gave Gary Russell a good fight early on when he was working.
Gary separated himself. Gary has a
Gary
has
Gary's last
a
fight.
good resume, but a
You know
lot
what I like about
of
Gary? You know
dudes
what I
is
like about
ducking that
Gary?
smoke.
One thing I like
Yeah.
about Gary is he might fight once a year, but it's a good fight. It's not going to be a terrible fight against Nyambia. Nyambia, a lot of guys might not know him, but he's a good fighter. He's a skilled Mongolian Olympic silver medalist. He lost to Rabasi Ramirez in 2012 Olympics. He can fight, man. He can fight.
Yeah.
If I want JoJo, call Gary out again. Say, come up to 130 and get this work.
Gary will beat him again.
Gary already said that he ain't interested in that fight. He ain't interested in fighting JoJo again.
But whoa, he did tell us if JoJo called his name, he whoop his ass.
It might be a different fight. It might be. It could be a different fight.
I don't see it being much different.
You know what?
I just don't see it.
You know, one fight I was very impressed with. Like I thought we could have done something at 130. Machado, but he just, I don't know, man. I thought, you know what's crazy? He was big at the weight. He was 5'10". He looked like a not welterweight. He looked like a 140 pounder in the ring when he was fighting these guys. Well, he just, I don't know what happened to him. Because when he beat Yandel Evans, when he knocked him out cold, that was crazy. Like the way he knocked him out. And I actually thought he would give Burchell a run for his money, but I don't know what happened to him, man. He can't take body shots.
What is Luke Campbell? What's Luke Campbell's normal weight? I've only seen him fight probably like 4 times. What's
135?
135.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite fighters.
I love Luke Campbell. I love him. I've only seen him fight 3 times. Whenever I see him,
how is he able to get in these title shots though, man? Like,
I don't know.
Because no one looks good against him.
Luke Campbell's had like 6 title shots.
Dev, you know what? You know what's crazy about what a lot of people don't know about Luke Campbell? You know when he fought Linares, his father passed away 2 weeks before the fight. When he fought Linares, and he went to America, away from his family, so he couldn't mourn or anything. And he lost the split decision to Linares in his backyard.
He gave Linares a great fight too.
Yeah. And I think the knockdown cost him the fight. If he never got dropped, he would have won the fight, in my opinion.
He gave Lomachenko problems, and he's going to fight Dev.
He beat me.
That's going to be a tough fight for Dev.
Listen, a lot of my friends are saying Devon's going to walk through Luke Campbell. I don't see it, man. A lot of people thought Devon would walk, but you know what's crazy? In Devon's last fight, he boxed. Did you guys watch his last fight? He boxed Dominican.
He got like injured in that fight too.
Yeah, but when the guy turned southpaw, he gave Devon issues. Devon couldn't cope. Devon couldn't figure him out when he went southpaw. And I was thinking, imagine if that was Luke Campbell. Devon hasn't really faced a southpaw. Has he faced a southpaw in his career?
Luke Campbell has a way of making everyone look like they're just not that great. And I don't know what the hell he does, because it doesn't seem like he does a whole bunch special.
You know what it is? I think it's his long arms, man. He has this textbook. He has this. There's a lot of guys in the UK that have that type of style in the amateurs that I faced already. They have that. It's an upright European style, but it's more.
They don't bend their knees.
Yeah. And the thing is, they don't really. He throws hooks, but he always throws like weird uppercuts or loopy shots. Like he turns his shots. It's those type of shots. Like he throws a shot where it's like a bowler punch, but he hits the body with it. It's like a long body shot. Yeah, man.
He's a very fundamentally sound, awkward fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
And I don't think anyone walks through him. I mean, he's, for one, you got an awkward guy with good skills, who we know can go the whole fight. He's got a good chin. He's got a very good chin that's been tested. Like I'm hard pressed to say that a guy that Loma and Linares caught him hard, and Linares couldn't get him out. And Linares might not be a bunch of things, but he can punch and he can finish.
Yeah, he can punch.
And he couldn't get Luke Campbell up out, and he caught Luke clean.
Yeah, he rocked him. Yeah.
Yes, and he couldn't get out of there. I don't even see Devin being able to find that kind of shot on Luke.
No,
Say-
I think David's gonna be in trouble, man. I just think
this is it for Dev.
Yeah.
And let's be honest.
Yeah.
If Dev struggles with him, then you probably want to dial it back. But if Dev washes him,
He in a whole different conversation.
yeah, man.
because
Yeah, the thing with Dev and the expectation with Dev is that he's not gonna be there at 135 for that long.
Yeah, he's
So
good.
for me, like if he does go up against Luke Campbell, I say that he should be able to try to take him out. Because if he's planning on moving up, he's gonna have to do his thing for those couple of fights that he has at 135. Because fighters at 140, those are completely different.
He needs to stay away from Josh Taylor.
Well, Taylor is to me a guy that like works and works and works and works and continues to work. So
He can switch as well. He can switch. He's got power in both
he
hands.
can switch. He can switch as well. But if you could keep your range from Josh Taylor, then you can do well against Josh Taylor. So
Yeah.
that's the thing with him.
Yeah, I agree. I just
but you don't want to put him in there with Josh Taylor or Ramirez too early.
no.
You
Right.
need his
They're
body
done
to
at
get used to the
140
weight.
anyway. I think if Josh Taylor fights Ramirez, he's gonna move up when he, and I think Ramirez is gonna move up as well. So because Crawford's running out of opponents, Crawford's
Yeah.
running out of opponents. So those two guys with ESPN and Top Rank. So those gonna be.
So whoever wins
Yeah.
is going to get Crawford probably immediately within that year, and then whoever loses is probably going to take 1 or 2 tune-up fights and then get Crawford. And I think Prograis will probably end up getting Crawford as well.
What about Amir Mom? Amir Mom, that could be a good fight for Devin Haney.
He's done.
He's done. Well done.
Who he say?
Amir
Imam.
That could be a good fight for Devin Haney to introduce himself to 140.
Amir E-Man.
He's done.
You better go find Ray Beltran brother or some shit.
Hey.
Hey, what do you guys think was wrong with Amir Mom? That he didn't make it.
Bad. Yo, you
power.
can do. You
He's
can
got power.
do 8. You can do 8 things right.
Yeah.
And making 2 mistakes.
Yeah.
Or 2 flaws, 1 flaw.
His beard.
Yeah, he does a lot of things where
he took a lot of big shots against Ramirez. He stood up for 12.
But when you have so
you saying that he took a lot of big shots. He should, especially for a fighter of his style, he shouldn't be taking a bunch of big shots.
Right.
He came out like I was studying Amir when he came because I was like, geez, this guy might be something.
You know when he beat that Argentinian?
Yeah, the Spanish kid.
I still study that fight because I like his style.
Yeah, he's boxing his skull off, and then it was like every fight after that. I'm like, yo, you look real human. That's it. Like you just look real. Like you had a very good fight, but you've been looking real human lately. And
Granado stopped him.
Yeah.
That was
Ramirez, and then he just lost to Javier Molina.
Molina's underrated, by the way. He can
but
box.
I didn't even know Molina was still alive. I'm being honest.
Guys, it's been fun.
I hadn't seen him since Jamal James. I haven't seen him.
Damn.
Jamal James is way too big for him, man.
Yeah.
It did hit the road, man. Hey, I'm about to.
You know when they pull a guy out that you haven't seen in a while, and he just beats you up.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, Top Rank they signed him I think a year ago, and they gave him like 3 or 4 tune-ups, and then they put him in with Amir Mom because Amir Mom came off the fight with Ramirez, and then he had a tune-up in November. Then he fought Molina in February, so he was off for a long time.
Let me see.
And did you see the fight? By the way, what was Amir Mom doing? He was coming forward like a Mexican. He was just coming. I don't know what he was doing. He wasn't boxing him. He was coming forward. He had the longer reach. He was the bigger man, and he was coming forward. It was just stupid.
Yeah, it makes sense, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna roll. I'll be rolling out. I'll check out later, man. So good
All right.
talk on him,
Yeah,
man.
I'm about to close up now. Thank you for joining me, Hash Man.
Yeah, man.
Yo, you were great. Even though I think you lost the argument, you still put up a great fight.
Yeah, man. Guys, check
Yeah.
out for me in the UK, man. I'm only 20 and I'm doing good as an amateur already. So I've won 2 London titles and
Wait, what's your name? You got an Instagram or something like that?
Yeah. Hashim.boxer.
Spell that for me, bro.
HASHIM.
Okay.
.boxer, yeah. Yeah.
Yo, if you send me you send me some footage, I'll put it up, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'll send you some. Guess what weight I am?
Wait.
You won't believe I'm 5'11". I'll give you one clue. What weight would you think I am?
126.
5'11",
Yeah.
140.
126.
114.
Damn.
What?
Yeah, man. And what's crazy is I stopped a couple guys in the amateurs already, so I got power at the weight. So I'm not like I can punch at 114, and I'm a south. I can switch as well. I box orthodox southpaw.
Wow. 5'11", 1 foot. Wow. Yo, that man.
Yo, yeah, send me some footage. I'll put it up, man.
Yeah. It's on my Instagram. I'm just gonna add you back now, all right?
All right. Yo, thanks for joining me, man. I really appreciate it. We'll love to have you again.
100%. I'll be here next time when you do your next post-fight interview.
All right, bet. Thanks, JR.
All right, no doubt, man.
All right, YSM Sports Media, we out.